So it got out there that I don't want the new mayor, Coogan, to fire these 4 people because they're doing good work, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I would call him one of my good friends, Sean, doesn't tell me yet because he's mad about this because he was at war with me against the Jaysville Career Administration.
Okay.
He says, if Cliff keeps acting like this, I'm not voting for him for president next year.
Welcome to the Bobby Couto Show, where we dive into the fascinating world of human experiences and excellence. With special guests, real-life anecdotes, and thought-provoking discussions. Get ready to unlock and tap into your absolute potential with your host, manifestation coach, Bobby Couto.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome episode 96 of the Bobby Couto Show. It is my absolute pleasure to welcome Cliff Pont to the studio.
Wow,
Studio
this is. I feel famous
welcome.
now. All the
Sir,
talent you've had through
dapper.
here.
You have amazing energy. Such a pleasure to have you here, brother.
No, you know, I got to say that I can appreciate everything that you're doing. I really do.
Thank
You know, it's. I've listened to some of them. I haven't listened to all of them, but I can appreciate what you're doing here and trying to make give people the opportunity to have a platform, right,
Sure,
where they can come in and talk to you, and you can get a different perspective of people and in politics or just people in general. So I commend what you're doing here and what you're doing for the community. I really do.
Appreciate you mentioning that because I think a lot of people got the wrong idea. When this actually came up for the first time, it was actually David's idea. And David's like, hey, what do you think about talking to some of the candidates? Obviously this is political season, and quite frankly, it's low-hanging fruit, right? No matter how you look at it, it's low-hanging fruit. Mike Sylvia does a wonderful job.
He's great.
The Forever Reporter. I think he's very fair and he's very honest. I've had the opportunity to sit with him a couple of times. We had some lunch together. And I really appreciate the work that he does. But outside of that, I think, like what we were talking a little earlier, I think introducing people to the citizens. I think we have perceptions of people of who they are. I had the pleasure of having Paul Coogan in the studio yesterday, and my conversation with him was completely different than what I thought it would have been. I think people, I was getting messages all day. Hey, ask him this, ask him this, ask him this. And, I try to be very cautious with that because honestly, Cliff, for the reason you're here, sir, is, you've done some amazing things in your life, right? And for me, this is all about the journey, right? It's all about someone who exercises their absolute potential. And that's what you are, sir. And so, in seeing your social media and going through all that, I think people see a perception of you as you're a politician, right? People would assume that you're a politician, a very good one, and I might say it that. I appreciate the work that you do, and and even more so now that I've done the research. It's one thing to have an outside view, but now to have an inside view of the things that you're doing. Really just chasing the truth. Really, the DCM. I think that's pretty amazing, and I'd love to talk about that.
Yeah, whatever. And there's no questions you can't ask me.
Sure.
I say that to everybody.
Sure.
Like there's nothing that you can't ask me that I'm going to be afraid to answer. I was with Jordan recently, and he had a podcast. I talk to everybody that wants to talk to me if I can get him in my schedule. So anything you want to ask me,
I was kind of like, I'm like, wow, Jordan's going to have him on the show, and then I'm going to have him on the show. But then I realized Jordan talks more than you do. So it's like, I said, there's plenty of opportunity here. But I'm kidding this. All kidding
But the
aside.
story about that is different, right? Because Jordan has always been a guy who's held people accountable and politicians accountable, or totally disagree with him on probably 75% of what he says.
Sure.
But the fact that two people who sometimes are on opposite sides of a political position can have a friendly relationship and rapport, even if we don't agree, that doesn't necessarily mean he's not going to go attack me politically on a stance. That's fine. He has the right to do that. I've entered that arena, right? But what I think this country, this state, and this city needs to get past is let's start having conversations about things that are maybe uncomfortable to have, but do so respectfully. Sure. And I think if we can get there, we'd make great progress.
Yeah, and I think in the pursuit of accountability as well. I think that is a big part of it. I think that things happen in certain situations because people think that they can. You know what I mean? I think when you bring accountability, which I see that's what you're trying to do. I mean, realizing that we need to have these audits. We really need to see, Paul Coogan, the mayor, was in the studio yesterday, and he was going over ARPA numbers with me. We didn't discuss ARPA during the podcast, but after the podcast, we were sitting, he was going over the numbers with me, and and again, I would never talk out of tail and say anything that he's not in the room, but, quite frankly, he's convinced. Like, he showed me the numbers. He's like, Bobby, all the numbers are here. Like, everything is accounted for. So outside of that, I know the question is there's money that might be missing, or people are perceiving that there's $1 million that's gone somewhere. That's something else. And I think the only way you can get to that is, again, we assume that there's wrongdoing, but what if it's just a mistake? What if it's somebody did a decimal point, right? Like, sure. So I think the forensic audits are very important. And I know Carlos is big on that. Like he's running on that platform.
Yeah. Let me just say, I ran against Paul Coogan for mayor. Okay. And I felt, and I have great rapport and great conversations with Mayor Coogan, right? And I just felt that I had a different management style than he did. I was council president at the time. I took exception for some of the things he did and said and how he handled council relationships. And I said, you know what? I'm going to run. And it was around COVID. My businesses weren't where they're at today. And I says, I'm going to challenge the guy, and I'm going to run against him. And I pulled some punches when I ran against him. Sure. But I got back on the city council 2 years ago after taking 2 years off. And I was like, you know what? We could respectfully disagree, and just I felt like I had a different style. And
I can appreciate that.
And I sat in his office when I pulled my papers. I'm like, listen, I hope to win. I says, but I'm never going to change the kind of counselor I'm going to be. Sure. I'm not going to be a rubber stamp for your administration, and I'm going to advocate for what I think is right. He's done some good. He's made some mistakes. Who in any kind of elected position hasn't?
Agreed. And I also think it's fair to realize the time period, right?
Right.
Because nothing was good for anybody. Right. When COVID came in, he just got into office, right? He got handed COVID. He got handed the marijuana situation, of course, and you were the interim mayor, right?
Look, look. I transitioned him into office. I was the acting mayor, and listen, I ran at not a good time. Right. I ran at a time where we were coming out of COVID. Yeah. The former mayor was getting sentenced the day of the preliminary. I'm 32 years old. He was 25 when he was mayor. Yeah. Okay. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, is this the right time to do it? And he beat me, handedly. Right? And that's fine. That's okay. And I'm not going to be salty about it. I'm not going to disrespect the guy. But when his administration messes up and the people elect me to be a city councilor, I'm going to ruffle some feathers. Yes, I'm going to hold people accountable. Yes, I'm going to make uncomfortable decisions. It's called integrity. It's called making, doing things when, not necessarily everybody's watching, but doing the right thing all the time. And there's been things that I've complimented him on. And there's been things I haven't. Like this whole new noise that is coming out in the mayor's race, which, by the way, I'm not in. Like, everybody thinks I'm in the mayor's race. I'm not running for mayor, right? I'm running for city council. Sure. But like this stuff that some of these people are saying is like, there's all this money missing. That's impossible. It's impossible because it's audited every single year. Right. We have the city council pays every single year since the new charter came out an audit. The opera money was audited, right? So it's irresponsible for people to say.
But Cliff, nobody's saying that. If you go on Facebook, it's the polar opposite of what you just said.
Oh, really? See, I don't pay attention, but I hear these things.
Unfortunately, like, I just got Facebook recently for the show. Like, without it, you can't survive. And you look at the narrative, and people spin narratives in any which way and every which way. They'll say anything.
Yeah,
Cliff,
totally.
They will say anything. And unfortunately, much like Obama said, he said, you flood the information pipeline with so much information, whether it's true or false, you can't decipher what's real and what's not.
That's so true.
And so people carry the false narrative, you know what I mean? And they carry it like a trophy. And the next thing you know, everybody's believing that there's money being taken and stolen.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm an energy guy, right? And I credit myself on one thing, not many things, but I'm a good judge of character. And Paul Coogan was sitting in that chair, and I'll tell you what, I don't think he's a bad guy.
No, he's not.
I think he's a good man.
Yep.
I think he's given a lot of his life to the city.
He's worked hard.
Right? He's worked hard.
He's a hardworking mayor, too.
Absolutely. And nothing's perfect. And I always say it, nobody's perfect. Yeah. But I think, truth and honesty, and just to be fair, I think there are people that are running for the seat right now that are all amazing characters. You know what I mean?
They all have different strengths and weaknesses.
100%.
And the current mayor, I'm not endorsing him here.
Sure.
But like, I'm just saying.
No, just a fair conversation, brother.
I'm not endorsing him, but like, he's 70-something years old, and the guy's at the office every day at 7 o'clock in the morning, and he's at every event. He's at every school committee meeting. Like, give the guy credit where it's due, and I'm going to give him credit where it's due, but I'm also going to grab him when let him know that you're doing it wrong here, because that's what a city councilor is supposed to do.
Right. And he came in here prepared. He had paperwork with him. He had books. Like, he was ready to have a conversation.
Good.
And I appreciate that. And again, and I know it's easy for people to just say a lot of vile things, but I just think we on this show, in this room, we're talking about character, and I appreciate character very much so. And anybody that donates or gives that much of their life to a service for the kids, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, give a little credit to that. So enough about Paul. Let's talk about the other candidates. Let's talk about Carlos. Let's talk about Boomer real quick. I think two really dynamic personalities. You know what I mean? And I think when people go and vote, and what, next week? Literally Tuesday, right? So what do you think? What's your feel for it? I mean, I know it's hard because I know you don't want to, it's not about picking sides, but just, from your perception as a citizen.
So as a citizen, I can tell you that the mayor's race not as many people are paying attention as people may think. I don't know if this is an issues-based campaign yet. I haven't been able to figure that out. When I ran, I didn't have an issues-based campaign. Okay. I tried to make issues. I tried to bring light to things that ended up happening when I was off the council and showing you that, hey, we're going to run out of money. Opera's going to go. Like, all the things I said happened.
Yeah. So what changed for you?
Well, nothing necessarily changed for me from that perspective. Yeah. It's just like the mayor's race in itself. What is the issue?
Yeah, right.
Like what is the main issue in today's race? It's not purple bags. It's not $10 trash fees. There's not hundreds of thousands of people running for office. When I first ran for city council was the year Jaisal got in as mayor. I got in as city council. 38 people ran for city council. 14 people are running for city council right now. Wow. The apathy is just unbelievable, and I don't know what it is. It's not because of people not holding politicians accountable. It happens every day. I think it's larger now here in Fall River than it is anywhere else. I think we get more press, more things like this, more opportunities, more platforms. Sure. So I don't know. I mean, I can tell you that I like Carlos and I like Boomer both, generally speaking, as individuals. I know them both. Yep. I've chatted with them. I've shook their hands. I've given them their best. They're running up against a candidate that has a lot of money. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That has a lot of money in his campaign. I don't know what he's like financially speaking. We used to joke around how much money he had in his Christmas club, called Coogan and I. But I can tell you that both of them need to get out and send their message. And I can't, honestly speaking, what is the message? Right. What is candidate A and B? Not naming names. Mm-hmm. What is your message? Good government, accountability. See, I think that one of the big mistakes I made when I ran for mayor, and I saw it in the recent political.
See, this is where your success comes from, brother. I love how I
reflect.
Absolutely, this is so important, brother. This is so important. People do not do this.
You have to reflect. Yeah. Could I have been salty about losing? Sure. I had many people I sat across and said, I'm going to help you win. I'm going to be there by your side. Mm. I run for mayor. I pull my papers. I go out. I get my sign, get my headquarters. I get my people. And I'm sitting there with 3 other people in the campaign headquarters. It's 3,000 square feet, private conference rooms. I get equipment, refrigerators, drinks, and I'm sitting there with me and 2 other people. It ain't 1997 anymore where all these labor unions are going to come out door knocking for you and cold calling for you. Yep. What people want to do today, and that's okay because they're busy and they're trying to make ends meet for their family. But what they want to do today for you is hold a sign for you on a Saturday, drop the sign in the back of your truck, and say, see you later. Mm-hmm. It's different. Campaigning is different than it was. Agreed. Social media has changed the landscape of how things go.
It's changed the campaign completely.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
We've had candidates drop out specifically because of the social media element. Yeah. Christopher's no longer in this race, and I think a lot of that came from the information he was getting from Facebook. You know what I mean?
I don't pay any attention to that. Right. Like, I'll go back and forth with somebody on Facebook when I have time. Sure. Other than that, I'm not going to read that again. I'm too busy, right? I've got businesses. I got stuff to do. Right. But going back to like a reflection point, like when I first ran for mayor, and who knows if I'll ever do it again, but I made many mistakes. My mistakes were the same mistakes that a specific party made at the recent presidential election, okay? And you can say what you want about Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. Mm-hmm. You can say whatever you want. But the messaging that comes out of the specific parties needs to be a message that impacts the lives of everyday people. And I'm not going to sit here and say who I voted for president or any of that. That doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. I can tell you that the Republican Party had a mission and a message that was crystal clear to me. They're going to help everyday people. They're going to help the people in Fall River or in Brooklyn, New York, or in Chicago.
Fall River heard it.
Right. Fall River did hear it. And the question, the point is, no tax on tips. Wow, that resonated with a population
and
of people.
Overtime.
No taxes on overtime. Wow. Okay, I can work more and make more money. Great. They're going to bring groceries down. Whether they do any of this or not doesn't matter. They're saying the right things to the people that are impacted the most to get them out there. Yep. In the mayor's race, now I'm going to put this all together. Yeah. In the mayor's race, what did I say, is what I reflect back, that could help the everyday Fall River resident? I was going after Coogan about his terrible policy and management
style. But that
style.
doesn't connect me and you, though.
But how did I get your support?
Right. How do you connect us?
Right. No, I got to be saying things. I need to find a way to eliminate the stormwater fee. Could I do it? Could I be responsible? I could have said a whole bunch of things and been totally irresponsible and promised the world and never delivered anything. Yeah. But Jazel got elected because he said he was going to get rid of a trash fee and trash bags. Flanagan got elected. He said he was going to eliminate the stormwater fee. Okay? And if you think back at those races, which I think about all the time, I didn't have that gotcha. I didn't have that, not gotcha moment, but I didn't have that, how am I going to help Bobby Couto, the Fall River resident in Fall River, to make more money, put more money in his pocket?
Right.
And I don't know if any of these other candidates are either. And it's not necessarily their fault, but what are you going to do? Right. You're going to say you're going to save money in taxes. Okay, great. How are you going to do that? Right. How are you going to take $3 million out of new revenue and try to replace it and not lay people off police and fire? Right. It's a tough conversation to have. And I didn't want to say things that was irresponsible. So I wasn't going to make a whole bunch of unnecessary noise just to get elected. And I'm sitting there in the mayor's office saying, how the heck am I going to do it? Right? And maybe I should have, maybe I could have, but I didn't. And I honestly think messaging with these candidates or any candidate for any office needs to be important. And I think you need to do it in a way where it's tactful, it's clear, and people believe in you. And I think that's the biggest problem with all politics right now.
And I agree. And I think the message is not clear with these candidates. I honestly, I think,
I don't know.
When you really think about it and you look at the substance of the campaign, in most cases, there are those specific. So I know education is easy, right? Homelessness is easy. The drug addiction is easy. The veterans, these are all low-hanging fruit. But what about the infrastructure? You're right. We have a terrible infrastructure problem. The sewage is just, we invest millions and millions into the sewage. And for some reason, the Flint is underwater all the time. You know what I mean? Sure. It's like, it's situations like that where I think people are okay with spending their tax money, but then when they don't see results for that, they're like, hey, wait a minute. I'm paying $10 for purple trash bags. Meanwhile, like, they didn't even pick up my trash today. It's Friday. They're supposed to pick it up on Tuesday, right? And then when I call them, nobody answers the phone, right? And then when I have to go bring a mattress down, they're charging me $50 to go. Like, the whole process becomes so convoluted that as a resident, never mind a landlord, is it worth it? Like, you say to yourself, is it worth it? Like,
yeah, I think so, but I think it all comes down to messaging. If I ever did it again, ran for a higher office, I would tell myself, what am I going to do to help the everyday person who lives in this city as an executive? Because it's different. I can't do nothing by myself as a city councilor.
Right.
You call me up and your trash wasn't picked up, I'll see if I can get somebody to go pick up your trash. If you have a pothole, I'll call the office and say, hey, can we get this pothole fixed? I can do that. But in terms of making huge changes in government, I cannot do it unless I can count to 5.
Agreed. But I think a lot of it's perception too, right? Because I think people, it's a sting. Like, I pay so much, and now you want $10 to come get my. Like,
totally agree.
I can hear my mother's voice, and it's when you say, "Hey, we're going to remove that," it's almost like, okay, you're taking that insult away. So, granted, it's not even the money. Because there are other things that we pay for that are much more expensive that are probably foolish. But the idea that you're going to charge me to take away my trash, I think it's a personal note with people. And even that with the fact that here we are, how many years later, and we're still talking about it, and it was so dynamic, and it actually, you feel like it had some impact in your campaign, right? Like, just some of that visual to be like, wow, next time I'm going to do this a little differently.
Yeah, you reflect back as, like, I own multiple businesses, and you think back on, like, how can I be a better version? How can I show up better every day? And there's some days that, I lose my cool, man. Like, I'm just not having a good day. I said to my staff today, because I wasn't happy, I'm like, listen, guys, I don't have time for a dress rehearsal. And like, I didn't mean to say it in the way it came out, but like, we got to execute.
Absolutely.
Right? And sometimes you got to shake things up. Sometimes you got to make tough decisions. Sometimes you got to be a little bit more bold and make people feel a little uncomfortable to get the best out of them. Yeah. Because I wasn't getting the best out of everybody, I felt. Yeah. Right? But that's being in leadership.
Of course.
That's being bold. That's sometimes making things not so comfortable for people.
So I feel like I cheated a little bit, but I did listen to your episode with Jordan in its entirety.
Oh, you did?
I did. I
okay.
absolutely did.
Cool.
Because I I like Jordan a lot. I appreciate Jordan. I love his personality. I appreciate him. And you guys together were very, like, it was a great, it was like an hour, a little over an hour. Yeah. It was on my ride today. I enjoyed all of it.
Awesome.
But with that said, so, going back to when you were 15 and a half, so just to share with my audience and where it really all started for you, I think that your journey is a noble one. I think, for me, I always say that the journey for all of us starts somewhere. There's a spark, right? Yeah. There's a spark. And I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think I heard it when you were saying that, my parents worked really hard and I didn't want to see them struggle anymore. And it seemed to me like that was that moment for you that sparked that fire to be like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start working. I'm going to build something. So one day I can actually purchase a cornerstone of the city and have a place for my parents. So it just, dude, that's so noble, brother.
Listen,
like that's,
I wish I was 15
my man.
and a half.
Look, everybody needs to know this, man.
Yeah,
everybody needs to know this.
I know. Somebody said to me recently that you do so much for so many different people, and you should be proud of that. And I'm like, yeah, I do. Like, I try to help people, right? And that story, I sometimes get emotional thinking about it and talking about it, because when I say my parents struggled, like, they didn't necessarily, they struggled because it was hard. Right, and I saw how hard it was for them. Right, my brother's 5 years younger than me. We're both active in sports. We're both going to school. You needed money for a field trip. Yeah, like my dad was. I didn't share this with Jordan, but my dad was. When I went to St. Jean the Baptist, which is now Holy Trinity, a Catholic school in Fall River, from kindergarten to 5th grade. And I remember my 3rd and 4th grade year, my dad was the gym teacher at the school.
Oh wow!
Right, but my dad wasn't getting paid. My dad was taking the money that he would have generally got paid, and it went towards my tuition at the school.
Oh, wow.
But granted, my dad was working 6 o'clock at night to 3:30 in the morning at the Belmont Club in Fall River. He'll come home, sleep for a couple hours, and he has his gym shorts on, and he's teaching gym till 2:30 in the afternoon. And I'm like, I didn't know that. I was just like, cool, my dad's a gym teacher, right?
Yeah, right.
And so, like, you pay. I was very, very lucky, because when things went south and my parents were like, Cliff, you gotta. They brought me into a perspective. Like, your life could be so much worse if. Right? Not necessarily putting that on me, but like, I knew when I acted up, I knew when I needed to get into gear, and I was always not necessarily threatened with the worst case scenario, but it was notable to me that if I do this, I'm going to get in trouble, right? But putting that all aside, like, I saw how hard it was when I needed to ask.
You created boundaries for yourself, right?
Yeah,
you knew you had some boundaries.
I had to. Yes. If I needed money, it was like, yeah, well, we don't really have it. I'm like, what do you mean? I want to buy a car. Okay, good, go buy one. Mm-hmm. But I'm playing football and baseball. Yeah, go get a job.
Figure it out.
Like, really? How about a cell phone? Yeah, I paid my grandparents $30 a month when I was 14, 15 years old for my cell phone, because I added it to their plan. I remember I had those little Nextel flip phones, right? Yep. And I was like, and then I upgraded and I got my own phone plan. But my parents said, yeah, I was a sophomore in high school. I wasn't a good athlete. Like, I sucked. Like, I wasn't a good baseball player or football player at all. I thought I was, but I really wasn't. So I realized, like, when I was a sophomore in high school, I was like, it's time for you to go to work. You want a car? Great. Yeah. And so I did. I quit playing sports, and I went to work. And I was working at Jersey Mike's when it was in the Benny's Plaza in Fall River. I walked there, and I went to Papa Gino's, and I went to Fall River Municipal Credit Union, and then I went all these other, like, and I worked at Bank of America, and like, I was doing all this other stuff, but like,
but
BCC happened when I got out of high school, and my parents were like, all right, good, go pay for it. I'm like, $4,000 a semester. I can't pay for that. So, but I did. I had to figure it out.
Who's the voice in your head? Who's pushing you through this? Look, you're determined, right? You're walking to work at 15 and a half years old. All your friends are either playing sports, hanging out, having a good time, but somehow you've got the discipline to not. Where is it? What's the voice? What is it? What drives you, man? Is it because is someone telling you, hey, the future could be this? Because some people have the realization and say, I work hard now, life can be easy later.
I think there were moments in my life where I reflect back saying, I don't want to live like this, man. Like, I've been very lucky. I've never smoked weed. And I'm not having an issue with it. I've never done drugs. Yeah. I smoke cigars every now and then. I guess that's a weakness of mine, right? I've never, because I grew up at a time where marijuana is bad, right? And I'm not saying it is.
No, right.
People do them.
But
like, I have no vices. Like, I didn't have any crazy, like, I'm not an alcoholic. I don't drink. Like, I didn't come from that upbringing. Yeah. But there were moments in my life where I said to myself, I can't do this. This is terrible. And I think there were moments in my life where I had some challenges. And one of them was working at Papa Gino's Pizza. And I couldn't, for the life of me, and this sounds terrible, I couldn't figure out how to get the pizza, the large size, because I was making large pizzas small or medium. And then, like, I wasn't good at that, so they put me on the oven, taking pizzas out. And I'm, like, 17 years old, and I'm sweating like crazy. I'm going through T-shirts, and there was this time where it was like the Patriots were in like the AFC Championship game, and I'm at Papa Gino's.
Was it Colts?
I don't know, remember who it was, man. I wasn't watching the game, man. I was sweating, and I was like, pizzas, picking up the phone, cleaning, and I said, I can't do this. Now, there's no disrespect for people who are in the restaurant.
No, of course not.
But I said to myself, I cannot work for $14.50 an hour and expect to be successful in life. Right? If I wanted to do something, I needed to go do it.
Man. There it is.
I had to go do it. So the person in my head is me.
There it is.
Right? It's like I don't have anybody else. Like I've had my parents are my hero, right? Yeah. Like they always knew I would always go to them for support. But I remember going when I had a really good job working at Bank of America. I was making great bonuses. It was really good. And I quit. And I was like, I went into my manager's office. And I says, I need to take 2 weeks off because I'm going a week off because I'm going to go to Florida to visit my grandparents. And he says, I'm denying your vacation request. I'm like, what? I'm a personal banker. I'm at the customer service line because a bank teller's on vacation. We're short-staffed. You can't leave. I'm like, what? So I left. I called my grandparents. They're like, oh, they're so upset. I'm like, you know what? I'm quitting. I got my real estate license at the time. I wasn't doing well at it at all. I sucked at it, quite candidly. And I quit. And I went to go do real estate full time with a $385 car payment and a $185 cell phone bill, but I was living at home. But I was stressing out about that $500-$600.
Of course.
And then I realized, like, I don't want to have to worry about a paycheck. I don't want to have to worry about that. So it all kind of came together when I was younger. Yeah. I always loved to work. I was 15 and a half. I was at Maplewood Park umpiring, throwing adults out of games because they were mouthing off to me. I remember I see them all the time. I'm like, you don't like my strike zone? I'm tossing you. Yeah. Right? And but I didn't care. Like, I guess I grew up with the gall when I was 15 and a half.
Which is necessary. It's necessary.
Yeah. I was taking on adults who were in their 40s at Maplewood Park saying, you want to mouth off? You're out of here, right? Like, I don't know where it came from. But Kevin Aguirre tells me all the time that you were the best dressed umpire at Maplewood Park because I wanted to be an MLB umpire, so I shined my shoes, my belts were shining, my clothes. I
can't imagine you being into anything, man. I can't see you being all in on everything. I mean, total sarcastic.
Baseball,
bro. You're all in. I could see it. I can absolutely see it. Thanks. So these ideas are living in your head, and that voice in your head, I refer to it often, and I tell people it's the bitch voice. Because that bitch voice, it has the ability to convince you to stop doing everything you're doing. Cliff, you worked hard today, brother. You put in extra hours today. Go home. Go rest. No, don't go to the gym today. You already did it yesterday. But instead, you take that voice and you flip it, and you're like, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yes.
Like, this isn't the life I want to live.
Yeah, somebody said to me recently, they're like, you run your business, because I was annoyed at something, and you run your business, you expect everybody to be like you. And this person I have tremendous love and admiration for says to me, this was like recent, like yesterday. Yeah. And I was like, yeah, you're right. Like, I want everybody to be like me, but nobody is going to have the determination. It's not their business. Right. So, like, in my business or in any business or in life in general, people have this new philosophy where it's like, oh, no, not my job, not doing it. Me, I'm the kind of guy who wanted to be the different voice maker at the bank or at Papa Gino's or something. Like, show me so I can be the manager. 100%. I remember when I was working at Jersey Mike's, like, I was so young working there, I couldn't use the slicer to make, like, cut the ham or whatever it was. So but I was like, come on, man. Like, I want to do that. Like, I want to be the manager here. Right? And when I was 15, I was done being a kid. Like, I was done. I was at Cathedral Camp. I don't know if you remember that, but it was a camp in Freetown. Yeah. My parents would drive. I take the bus.
They still have a fair there every year, don't they?
I don't even know. I haven't been there in years.
Yeah, they still do it.
And so I'm over there, and I'm like, I don't want to be a kid anymore. They're like, what? The head counselor. I'm like, I just don't want to be in my group. I want to lead a group. I think maybe I was 13.
Oh, wow.
And she says, well, you can't do that. You're too young. I says, well, give me a job, because I'm going to tell my parents I ain't coming back here. And the head counselor says, we're going to go see Sister Joe. So we go over to where his office was. I'm like, I can't do this. She goes, how about we give you a job in the kitchen? Perfect. So I go, and I'm making French fries, and I'm cleaning up. I'm like, this is so much better. Yeah. And 2 o'clock came, and I hit my bus, and I was happy. 4 days later, I get told, you can't do that anymore. because you're too young and you shouldn't be around the Friars. I'm like, oh, that stinks. Yeah. Says, Mom, I ain't going back. And it's because I didn't want to be like doing archery and swimming and boating and arts and crafts. I didn't want to do that anymore. I wanted to teach arts and crafts, right? So I guess to answer your first question, it's all in the back of my head. I was ready to go. Like I was ready at 14, 15 years old. Let's go. Yeah. Right.
And so from then you just don't stop. Like you just go one after another another.
Yeah.
So what's next for you after that? Like, so where do you realize, okay, well, let me turn, like I got this, I made a little money. Like, what am I going to do with this money? When do you realize real estate is where you want to go? I mean, I know sometimes it's the obvious, but it's very difficult, man, because I know people that are in the real estate game and they just can't seem to get out of their own way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was going to school to be a school teacher. And because I had several teachers in my life that made an impact on me when I was at school. I was over at Atlantis Charter School after I struggled at the Catholic school, and I was an A+B student. I made the honor roll every year at Atlantis.
Parents, they took care of your education, man. You went to some great schools. I mean, all
yeah,
kids,
yeah.
I mean,
and then after that, I went to Durfee, and I had a great education there. Yeah. And that's when I started paying attention to politics. I remember I was a student delegate to the school committee. I used to sit down at the school committee meetings watching like superintendents yell at each other. And then like I remember they were trying to get rid of level 3 at Durfee. Me and my buddy Andrew, we fill an auditorium with teachers and students. We don't want them to get rid of level 3 because, so we were already about making change when we were really, really young. Yeah. And, I just like I was going to school to be a school teacher. I got my first $5,000 check. I'm like, really? Then I made my second one and the third one. I was like, all right, this month I made $15,000. I'm like, ooh, okay. I think I can do this.
This is something.
Right?
This is something.
So I got my associate's degree from BCC. I transferred to UMass Dartmouth. I hated it so much. I was saying to myself.
What was your major? What were you doing?
Political science.
Okay.
But I wanted to be a school teacher. But I'm like, why the hell am I in Spanish class in college right now? Like, why am I learning Spanish? Spanish 101. Like arts, what political science 103. Now, I'm not trying to discredit an education having an important part of people's components, but like if I never went to college, I would be doing exactly what I'm doing right now. Right. And again, I am not necessarily saying college is not for everyone, but for me, I guess you can call me a college dropout. Right? That doesn't necessarily mean I'm a bad person.
No, but you took what you needed, right?
But I got what I needed out of school, and I was done with it. Like I was ready to go make a career for myself.
Right. And just real quick, and when you left, did you feel like you had a new perspective on politics and the process? Did you feel like you got? That's what I'm saying. Like, so it wasn't even worth it. So you realized what you already knew.
Probably,
right?
Yeah. I was just like, I'm what 20 something years, 19, however old I was in junior year of college. I'm like, I'm learning how to do Spanish. I did this in high school. Like, what is going on with my? I could be doing so much more with myself, right? And again. That is not to discredit education being a huge component
but your
of people's
journey
lives.
is your journey. It didn't suit your journey. It's not for everybody, right?
And I started making money in real estate, and I'm like, I don't think I'm going to be a school teacher anymore. And then I built a house when I was 21. I my first house, and then I was blessed to have a great mentor in my life. Yeah. And then
can we talk about that? Because you were terrible at real estate, right? Like, would you say you were terrible?
My first year,
horrible.
Horrible. It was 2008 though.
Okay.
It was the biggest recession since the Great Depression.
So the universe says, Cliff, you've been working really hard, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm going to throw you a bone.
Uh-huh.
And it comes in the form of your dad? Was it your dad that gave you
Yeah. My dad was working at the Acoxa Country Club in Westport, and Louis Andrade was the owner of Century 21 Associates. And Louis, who was older, I think he was in his 60s at the time, said to my dad, hey, I want your son to call me. And I did. I'm like, I'm not calling that guy. He's mean. I hear nothing but bad things about him. Much of what some people say about me. And I was like, all right, well, whatever. I'll give him a call. And then he took me under his wing.
Meanwhile, you're struggling. Like so
struggling.
So people get a perspective of what's happening. Like you're at a point where you're like, maybe I shouldn't do this.
Bro, I was at a point where I was taking quarters out of my car to try to get a coffee. And I'm like, I hope that if anybody asks me to go to lunch, it's not going to happen. Like I know how low you can get when you're at the bottom.
This is your absolute. This is your absolute.
Total drop. Yeah. Rock bottom. Yeah. Like 22 years old, quit my job, driving a Chrysler 300, a $400 car, like all these other things. I'm like, wow. And then I had a mentor that said to me, I said this recently, I was like, you have a game, I have a map. You're going to leave if I say leave my office right now, Louis says to me, and I want you to drive to California, what do you need? I says, no, I don't know. He says, you need a map. And I'm going to give you the map, but you're going to shut up, he says. You're not going to ask stupid questions. You're going to ask me questions if you don't know, but you're not going to question what I tell you to do. You're going to go do it. And I did every single thing he said.
Love that.
Right? my first month at Century 21, I had 11 listings. I couldn't get one at the other firm. No disrespect to the other firm, but it was more, I had somebody believe in me, just like my parents did. And I had the ability to go out there and do it. And from that point forward, I was a top producer of the company. 24 years old, Louis calls me into his office, and he says to me, I'm going to make you a partner here.
Come on.
What? He says, yeah. Now, I was talking to him about, like, I'm going to go for my brokerage license, maybe open my own office. Like, I don't know what I'm going to do, but he says, I'm going to make you a partner here because you're the future. So then I took that little company, and then I started recruiting, and I started hiring people. The problem was, though, at Century 21, we would hire and train, and I was a sales manager and running my own business, get a little cut of their deals, and then what ended up happening was I would train them, and then I'd go to another company.
I was going to say, gone.
They're gone. And then so we said, we need to be number one.
It's a dirty business.
So then we became Keller Williams, and it's been life-changing since we came over to that branch.
And that's enormous, right? That's just the momentum in that is...
But I had mentors. I had people believe in me. Yeah. And sometimes you just need that person. So when people say, why do you help so many people? It's because I remember being there, and I remember I just needed a little bit of a jolt, and I got that jolt. And I'm able to help that person. Like, I'm able to help my parents. Like, there's no better, more rewarding aspect of my life in terms of a legacy that I could look back at when I'm 60 years old saying, how was your life? Yeah. It's good. And my parents, I did what I could to help them. Yeah. And one day when I have kids and I get married, I'm going to do everything I can to be the best version of myself for them and everybody else that's around me, because I have a lot of people that rely on me to wake up every single day to make a living, from contractors to agents to my clients to my restaurant employees. I got to show up every day with high levels of integrity for them because their livelihood depends on me. And that's a huge burden at 36 years old to have that.
Right. But you look like you're at peace, my friend.
I am very blessed.
I see it. Like you're not razzled. You seem like every thought you're very methodical. I get that energy from you. Yeah. So it's a huge success there, and then you say to yourself, maybe brokerage, maybe some brokerage, right? Was that the next step for you, or is there something in between?
Well, I became a partner with Louis, and then when we became Keller Williams, I was a partner there too, and we took an office that had 22 agents. We have 195 people now. Man. Right, but it's with hard work, determination, and a little bit of luck, and trust, right, and you know, look,
vision, a lot of vision. People have to believe in you, bro. People have to believe in you.
I've taken some tremendous strides. I got a great social media company that I work with, Told by Fire Media. They're great, and I had a goal about a year ago, and I said I need to change the image that people have of me. And I was off the council at the time, and he was like, what do you mean? And we dug in, very similar to the conversation we're having. And it's like, well, what do you want to change? I said, well, people just think I'm an asshole. They think I'm cocky. They think I'm arrogant. They think I am just part of a group of people, and I am elite to everybody else. And I generally don't. Like, that's not, you get to know me. That's not the kind of person that I am.
Right.
I'll do anything I can to help another person succeed. Right? Yes. And if I was that bad of a leader, I wouldn't have 200 people that work for me at my real estate brokerage.
Yeah, but Cliff, what are people seeing? They see you for 3 minutes at the
totally. I get it. Like, look, if I looked at Cliff, I'd think he's an asshole too.
Right. Like,
but I'm like, and I get it. It's cool. I understand. Yeah, but am I a little arrogant, cocky? Yeah. But I don't have time. Like, I said somebody an email recently. I said, Joe, comma, and I started sending me thank you, and then it was like. He was like, are you mad at me? I'm like, what? Why? I didn't say Joe ... smiley face XOXO and then send a whole bunch of like sweet things. Like, I'm busy. Right, and I think arrogance and being busy kind of collide with each other.
Absolutely.
Like, he's too superior to me. He's going to walk by me at a restaurant. I'm sorry, I don't remember your name.
Right.
I'm sorry. Right. Like, and I don't mean that in a bad way, but like, I don't wake up every morning to try to say gotcha or try to be elite better than everybody. That's why, like, there's some stories I can tell you of things I've done for people. I am not going to post about it, or I might not even say it, because I don't want people to think I'm just running around and you're this guy from Fall River that, you know, got all this money from being a politician.
No, right.
Like, that's just the craziest thing in the world.
So, I mean, aside from owning multiple staples, right? Like Roger's Hot Dog. That was huge, picking that up. Of course, we know Al Max Diner. New York Bagel, 2 to 11.
2 to 6.
6.
11 is a goal.
All right. 2 to 6. You know, so why are you here, Cliff? Why are you in Fall River, man? But you could be doing this in Miami. You could be doing this anywhere in the world. Why are you here?
First thing, my family's here. I could never just abandon them and saying, hey, guys, I'm going to go move down to California and I'm going to do this there.
But you could though. But you could.
Yeah, probably.
Yes.
I'm not married. I don't have kids. So yes, I could.
Yeah.
But my family is so important to me. I could never not be there for them and with them. I've created some bonds here and businesses here that I feel like I'd be turning my back on if I left. Why here? It's a community that has been so good to me from a business perspective, from a childhood upbringing perspective, to the education that the school system has provided me, the connections that I've made. Why in the hell would I leave a city and go somewhere else and try to begin new again? Right? It's all here. We have great food. We got great people. We have a resilient population of people. We have people working their ass off to try to make ends meet in this world. And there's no better place to do it. And in a place that is just so centrally located, where else would I want to do this?
Yeah.
Than my hometown that had a huge impact on my upbringing and my life. Why would I ever want to change anything like that? I would never.
I agree. I agree with you 100%. Like Azorian, my parents came here, immigrated here, worked Quaker Fabric. Like they built everything we have is from that, the opportunity that the city provided. And I feel like I owe something to the city. And that's why we're here. That's why I'm doing what we're doing here. And it's offered me this opportunity, brother, to sit down with people like you and tap into this journey and this mindset. Because, I want people to hear it, and I want people to realize that there's nothing special about us, brother, other than our
We're just people.
We're just people, other than our determination and frame of mind, right? Like the visionary, the idea that we know we can manage. Like, brother, I was sitting, I mean, you're up there. But I was sitting across from the mayor yesterday. This was just a dream 10 years ago. And here I am sitting down having a conversation with the mayor of the city that I grew up in.
Yeah.
Like these are monumental moments in my life. And I'm manifesting these ideas. And I'm realizing that it's not just about talking about it. It's about believing in it. And I think, you said something, you and I agree on so many things. I agree with you on, we should run a government like we do a business. I totally agree with that 100%. I believe that, people should be given an opportunity to express themselves and try new ideas without, the fear of judgment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In any case. Yeah. And I think here in this melting pot we call Fall River, what better place to do that?
Somebody said about Fall River one time, this is a city of opportunity, right? And it is. I have a book. Somebody gave it to me. It's probably this big. And it was like, it's a city of opportunity, and it really is. When we were changing the motto 70 times in the last decade, make it here, whatever it is, we'll try, it's scholarship, Sheila, whatever. It's a city of opportunity because it's opened up so many opportunities, I can say, for me and many other people, and it has so much more untapped potential. And if there was the right people in the right places at the right time with a little luck in between, the city's going to do okay. And I'm happy to be part of it.
That's amazing. And you are. You've been a part of it. I mean, 6 years? 6 years?
Yes. It's going to actually be 8 when this term's done.
This term, right.
But I have no desire to be a lifelong politician. Like, oh, you're just another politician. Okay, great. Yeah, but like I literally love going to my city council meetings and do one thing, holding people accountable. That's it, man. Like I don't have any other agenda.
So are you saying there won't be a Cliff Jordan reunion, male again? Like we can't look forward?
I think I just want to have a Lincoln Douglas debate with Jordan.
I like that. He's my Abraham Lincoln. Every time I look at him, like with that beard and the hair, I'm like, he's my Abraham Lincoln. That guy's but quite the character, man, right?
He's going to love all this attention.
Absolutely he is. Absolutely. Well, again, just hats off and shout out to him. What is it? A slice of success? The slice of success.
Yeah.
And what a great idea.
He's got more press on this podcast than I have. I love it. He's not even here. Let's get him here.
That's so funny. He's a good, it's a good guy. And he actually kind of launched this whole mission that we're on recently. And he was the first guy that was on the show. And we got a lot of slack. People had a lot to say about Jordan. But I say to myself, you know what? Appreciate that, man, because if you're making noise, then you're making a difference, right? Like shake the tree, see what falls out of it. Cliff, 5 years from now, where are you at? What's going on for you, brother?
5 years from now, I hope that I have a child of my own. I hope that my businesses are continuing to succeed. I hope my family, my parents.
So are you actively dating right now?
Yes.
You are?
Yeah, and
how's that going?
The thing is, it's good. The thing is that like I haven't necessarily for the last several years like made all these pictures of all this stuff on social media and all this other stuff. One, because like everybody who does that, like that necessarily isn't always true, number one. And number two, I don't want to have to subject somebody in the middle of a city council race or anything like that, and trying to bring people's personal life into politics.
Right.
So I protect other people too, and I'm very, very lucky. I have great people in my life, but
what's a date like with Cliff? What's a date like with you, man? What's a date like with you?
Jesus.
Where are we going? What are we doing?
I'm a big steakhouse guy.
All right.
A steakhouse and a cigar.
Yeah.
Like something like Tel Aviv, and just having a cigar and just like enjoying
That's
it.
my favorite place. I love Tel Aviv.
I've been getting into golf the last 2-3 years.
Okay.
It's been great. I suck.
Yeah.
But don't even ask me what my handicap is. I think it's like a 40. But anyway, I 5 years from now, family, at least one of my own. I lost my grandfather last year, which was really, really hard. And I guess one of the regrets I have in life is that he wasn't able to see me have a child. And I'm very lucky that my grandmother is still with us and healthy, and my parents are both here. And one thing I hope that I can bring into this world, as long as I am in control of it, of course, is that I hope that my parents and my grandmother are able to see me have a child, and have that, and have a family of my own and make them proud. And trying to look at it from a perspective of, I saw how hard my parents worked growing up, and only hope to have that same ability to be able to be a shining good example for my child one day. And I think that all kind of comes together because I've been so laser focused on my career. It's been at the mercy of relationships.
Sure.
And if I have, the ability to have a child, and a healthy child for that matter, and like I always say, a little luck along the way,
Absolutely.
And a little faith in myself and in the ability that I have, I think things will be good.
I hope you don't mind me saying so,
Sure.
but I think your thought process is exactly the way it should be. Most men get into relationships today and they're not based. They don't have anything to offer. Most men are broken and weak, and they're looking for somebody to fix them. I think women are almost drawn to that. And then when you find someone who's confident, successful, and has their shit together, it becomes a different type of situation. You know what I mean? You're not looking for somebody to fix you. You're looking for somebody to complement your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's a completely different.
Yeah.
Completely different.
And I've been searching for that for a long time because I am a very, very challenging person to date. And it's like, what? Well, what do you mean? Like,
I'd never guess that.
Just because it's like, all right, I'm going to go eat dinner in Fall River. Oh, four people are going to come up to you and say, hey, how are you? And I want to talk about the city council meeting. Like, I'm here with my girlfriend. Like, can we just have a dinner? And and you don't want to say that.
No, right, because you don't want to be the douche. Right.
And they're fans,
Yes,
I guess, or people that hate me all at the same time. I don't know. But, I'm challenging to date because I'm very busy. I don't have time for it's 3:30, let's come home and cuddle stuff, right? Like it's, I'm working, man. Like, I'm sorry. I got a council meeting every other Tuesday. Yeah, no, we're not going on, and I'm on vacation. I can't put my away message up on my email and say, okay, out of the office until Friday, September 17th, I will return when I return your email. No, I can't do that.
Right.
Because my business
When's the last time
will
you took a vacation?
I don't even remember because, I've been on vacation. I've been traveling for work.
But
it's a 5-day trip. I might take 2 days off.
Right.
I'm going to work the other 6.
Right.
And when you're an entrepreneur and people that you're in a relationship with are not or don't get the business that you're in, it's hard.
Right.
It's
it's one thing I think if you do it together, it's kind of you kind of grow together into that.
Yeah.
But when you're doing it and you're bringing somebody in, I think it's a completely different situation. And I think at first, it sounds great. Most women are like, oh, wow, he does really well. He's a good looking guy. He's got a really nice car.
You have better hair than me, though.
Thank you,
I wish I had
Appreciate
nice salt and pepper hair like that.
Really?
That's great.
You think so?
Yeah, that's great. The salt and pepper, before I ran for city council, I had nice hair. Not really, but I had hair. I didn't have facial hair. And they're like, what happened? I'm bald. I got gray hair in my beard.
Yeah, you got a nice head, though.
Oh, thank you.
Some people don't have nice heads.
So I don't have like a square.
No, it's proportionate to your face. It complements your face.
And that's just a random thing. I got my barber out of business. I felt bad. I used to go every week because I was thinning right here. Yeah. And so my barber was like, hey, you're going to go line that up and make it all kind of look good together.
David, same thing. David, show him, David. David, show him. Show him. Look.
And the reason why is because, there it is.
Look at it. See that?
There it is. You finally did it. $20 a week it was costing me.
There you go. Yeah.
Now I just shave
He
it.
said he's going to donate the money now. He's going to donate it to a good cause.
Yeah. But now every now and then I'll go for a little lineup, and hey, but I had nice hair. I wish I had hair like you, though.
Well, thank you, buddy. You know, I think you're perfect just the way you are, my man. It fits the character, brother. It fits the character. You know what I mean?
Yeah, imagine me showing up to the next council meeting with hair. Like, how weird would that be? Ponte's hair? What?
Right? Yeah, it'd be like a Hims commercial.
Yeah.
Commercial.
Yeah.
Bro, you're a blast, man. I hope we could do this again.
Oh, I'd love to.
You know what I mean?
I've been following you for a while now.
I appreciate that, man. Thank you.
I can appreciate the work that you're doing. You know, it's like, you know, somebody said, what do you do? And I said, what do you expect from that? I'm like, I don't know. Like, I really don't have any questions that somebody can't ask me. I mean, Jordan asked me a question like, well, how much you worth? I'm like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't need to get into that. Like, that doesn't matter, but that was the only stumper I got. Leave it to him to do it.
Right. Look, I believe that money's a byproduct. And I tell everybody I care about, do what you love. Truly do. It's so hard to just grasp this concept. But if you do what you truly love, the money comes. Like
and opportunities come, and giving back and helping good people.
Yes.
You know, like I said to you earlier, like being there for my parents the way I have been, that's the greatest thing I can ever accomplish, and I've done more for them. And I mean,
are you first generation, second generation?
Second generation.
Second. So they were born. They were born here.
Yes.
Your parents were born here.
Yes.
And your grandparents are from.
My grandmother is French. My grandmother was French.
Yeah.
My current grandmother is French.
Yeah.
And my grandfather was Portuguese.
Yeah.
So from the mainland. So
okay, all right. So from like Lisbon, from the mainland.
Yeah,
all right. Okay, all right.
So
I love the attachments, man.
One of these days when I have some time, I do want to kind of have like a little family tree. Like I want to kind of go through. I did it like 5th grade or something, but I want to see how it evolves and what it does and all that other stuff. Because I have like my family is tight and small right now. Like I'm not the kind of guy who has like 60 cousins, and my brother doesn't have any kids yet, and so it's like it's not like we have all these kids running around our house on Christmas Eve. And when I lost my grandfather last year, it was this family of 6 now went to 5 on Christmas, and it's even smaller and smaller and smaller. So I feel that I'm at the point in my career or my life where it's now time for me to step up to continue the family
continuity
and the continuity of the family, right?
Yeah.
And I am disappointed that I haven't had a kid yet. But my 5-year forecast is 2.
And you have a brother, right?
I do. Yep.
Yeah.
Timmy worked for me as in real estate. He still does. He wanted a different career path, so he's a school teacher now at Durfee. He's always been good with math. He's always been involved in sports, and I'm proud of him for how he's adapted to life. He's buying a house right now, another house. So we've done well, and we're healthy and. And all that stuff comes together.
Before we walk out of here, just real quick, I can't
believe this is over already.
I know, right? Like we keep going and going.
Wow.
I just New York Bagel. I want to talk about New York Bagel because that's a great story.
Have you been there yet?
I have not been, but just to be honest, I know there's a meeting coming up soon. And I'm going to be there.
There's a meeting at New York Bagel?
I think Representative Fiola is going to.
Oh, she's going to be there.
She's going to be there, and I'm planning on. I'd like to attend and just kind of see what that's all about. But I really want to talk about that journey for you because this was another opportunity that was presented to you, or I should say that you happen to have a good eye for, because I think you have an eye for this. Yeah. And not only did you, save this, let's say save it, but you also helped somebody out. Like you brought somebody in as a part. And I think. That's very noble, and I say that because I've struggled. I've maybe I like to consider myself, and be careful. I like to consider myself a good judge of character, and sometimes I see more in people than maybe I should, and so you tend to give a little bit more than you should. And maybe if it was somebody that I didn't care about, I would have pulled back a lot sooner. But in this case, you had faith in someone that you knew and you care about. And huge success. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah. So one of the best parts about running for mayor is I made the connections with some of the people who own New York Bagel and who the landlords were. And I was driving around one day randomly, and I noticed that this, business was closed and it was open, and I was like, "What's going on here?" And I made a call, and I says, "Hey, can I speak to the owner of this thing?" They called me back, and it was under agreement to be somebody else was going to buy it. And unfortunately, that didn't work out. And so I got a phone call. "We're ready to sell it to you." Great. We're ready to buy it. And I sat there saying to myself, what the hell am I going to do? I'm not going to go run and make bagels. I don't know how to cook. I'm not going to be behind the New York Bagel line, cutting bagels, putting cream cheese on it. I'm not going to be ordering any of this stuff. So I had a friend of mine, Kyle, who's a firefighter in Fall River, also a real estate broker. Him and his wife, our agent, both of them work at my office. And he said to me 5-6 years ago, "I want to be in business with you." So we started flipping some houses together, and we had success at that, learned a couple things along the way. And then when the opportunity presented itself to buy it, I called Kyle up. And I'm like, you're a firefighter. You only work a couple days a week. Your wife worked, you guys are a young family. I says, I want you to be my partners. And I want you guys, but you guys are going to run day-to-day
phone call,
operations.
man. I got to get that phone call, bro. What a great phone call, man.
And he said to me, great. I love that idea. And I did that. I met with him. We created a business plan together. We ran into some obstacles in the purchase of it, but we did it. And Kyle, into his credit, and Dawn, who is our operating partner and manager over there, runs all 6 stores. We took 2 stores that were on that, and I say this candidly.
I saw tumbleweeds. Whenever I drive to that parking lot, there were tumbleweeds going by there.
But the thing is, the former owners did an amazing job of building an identity in this community in Fall River and in Dartmouth for since 1989. Right, and I said to them, we want to make you proud.
Yes.
When we take this over,
yep.
We want you to be proud of what you've built here. Okay, and we want to just make it a little bit better.
Yeah.
And they were a little older, and they
you
were
made it a lot of better.
Look, and I get a lot of people saying, "Oh, they missed my order up. There's too much cream cheese. Why don't you do this?" Like we're trying our best, right? It's not my fault that the bagel didn't come out good,
right.
But it's okay. We'll work through it. But like Kyle and I, we got together, and we have a goal, and we've said to ourselves recently, like, we can't buy any more stores right now because our kitchen can't take any more stores than we currently have right now, because they'll just it is. Right. But I'm a big fan of the History Channel's The Food That Built America, and I watched some of that over the last fall, and I was saying to myself, oh man, maybe this is us. Starbucks and Dunkin' started in a hole in a wall somewhere, but so did the cinnamon place, right? So we look at this as an opportunity to be a big part of the community. I said to the former owners the day of the closing, we just want to make this a little bit better. And we want to we took 2 stores and we made it 6 in a year.
Oh, wow.
And there's opportunities that we're looking at now that we want to have more stores. So I hope 15 years from today, we have 20 stores.
Yeah,
and Kyle can leave something to his kids. I can leave something to mine, or we sell it. But we love what we do. They do an amazing job. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't have 6 stores.
So, sounds amazing, right? But with that comes the hard conversations, right? So it's
business owner conversations.
Absolutely. Could we talk a little bit about that?
I'd love to, yeah.
Because, I think that's where most people fail. I think that's, it's all great to be partners with someone. This is all great. But then all of a sudden, something doesn't go the way it should. And as the main proprietor, you have to address that, right? Friends and not friends, right? How does that go?
It's all about your style, right? If I go into a meeting and you're my business partner and I'm sitting here talking to you about this is what I want, we're doing this, and I don't care if you like it or not, what good are you going to, why am I here with you? Why are we partners? Right. A partnership is truly a partnership. And I have had, Kyle and I, we've had great conversations. We've had tough ones too. He called me the other day about a situation that was happening with a landlord, and I'm like, all right, just take a breath, okay? It's going to be fine, right? And I talked him through it, right? We've never had a fight in a year and a half about, I'm leaving and you pay me out right now, I'm out of here. We're not like that. Right. There's sometimes probably Kyle's a little upset with me, I'm a little annoyed with him, but we had a conversation recently, and he brought something to my attention that was kind of like, well, we're partners, and I wish you would have said this a little differently or offered me this different opportunity. I'm like, Kyle, you totally misunderstood. That's not what I mean. I'm not a hothead. There's been no partnership of mine that I've ever had that has failed because we have too many egos.
But that's important that he feels comfortable enough to say that to you.
Yeah, but it's like we know what our lanes are, right? And I told this, and he gets irritated at me sometimes when I say this, but I'll say it anyway. If the kitchen calls out, don't call me to go make bagels, because I'm not going to do it. I can't do it.
Figure it out.
All right. And he's like, there's been times where poor Kyle's on Father's Day last year or the year before, Mother's Day, he's like, the cook called out, the baker called out, I need to make bagels, tomorrow's a busy day, and he took a picture of it, and I didn't respond because I was busy. And then he's like, oh, I'm sitting here all by myself making bagels. I'm like, Kyle, I'm not doing that. And he knows, right? But we have such a good friendship. We're friends first. Yeah. We're business partners second. We have the same core values. We have the same characteristics. We have the same drive. We're humble people. We have great parents, both of us. My parents know his parents. I grew up with Kyle. We've known each other for a long time. Sure. So there's never going to be a time where Kyle is going to override me or I'm going to override him in public. or with our managers. We'll handle that stuff behind the closed doors.
Sure.
And being a person that's a broker and an operating principal and owner of a large real estate company that has partners as well, you got to learn how to navigate and pick your battles.
Sure.
And yeah, being a business owner isn't always easy. It doesn't look as easy as it does. Right. But learning in any kind of partnership or any relationship in life, what you bring to the table and the value you bring, and have a nice complementing force behind it. Kyle, I, and Dawn, we have the best complementary aspect of our relationship is because we complement each other well.
I love that.
Right. And I'm lucky to have that. I'm lucky to have a good friends and good business partners and good people that I've surrounded myself with. And there's been some people I've turned away just because they're not my cup of tea. There's never going to be anything in my life that I'm going to put my name to that I am going to be around people who are irresponsible or don't have integrity. I have turned people away at my real estate brokerage that wanted to work for me that didn't see eye to eye on integrity and ethics. And if you want to be a person that doesn't have integrity or ethics, I don't want to be associated with you. And if that means cutting off friendships and relationships, and unfortunately, which I've had to do in my life, that's what I have to do, because that's what's right for me and my family. That's what's right for me and my own mental health.
Sure.
And yeah, and people say I'm pretty cool and chill, and like you don't have all the responsibilities you have. You're just sitting there and you're comfortable. It's because I know what it was like to be at the bottom, and I know I can pay my bills, and everything else we'll just figure out.
Right.
So, but I mean, it's like I have lots of other aspirations. There's some stuff that I'm working on now that like I want to tell you about so bad because it's so like not up your alley, but it's like it's so something that you would be so happy for, and like and maybe want to be a part of one day. Okay, right? All right. And
keep talking, brother. Keep talking.
And I can't say anything yet because I signed a non-disclosure agreement. But there's some stuff that I'm working on with somebody that you know, and like I want this to be special, right? And it's involved in the city and it's landmark like and like I want this to be huge, right? And like when I bought Rogers, Kyle and I bought it together. I called him up. I'm the one who went down there and called him and Kyle, like, you want to partner up with me on Rogers? Yeah. And then we're going to close that place down. There's going to be 13, 14 people who are going to be without jobs, another landmark in the city. Are we making hundreds of thousands of dollars a year there? Absolutely damn not. No way going to happen. Okay? But we're able to keep people in business, buy a real estate transaction.
Absolutely.
And also do okay.
Yeah, right.
Right? We're making a little bit of money on
it. ROI on that.
Like, yeah. And at the end of the day, I got a real estate that's attached to that too, so I can always sell it. Of course. So we're in a really good spot as a group. And I have lots of other aspirations. I'm never going to slow down. Like people are like,
I get excited to hear you say that.
Are you going to like just relax? No. Yeah. Why? Like, I'm going to buy more businesses. If Kevin from the TA calls you up, you want to buy your business, I'm going to talk to him. Probably not going to run it well, but I'll try to find somebody like Kevin to run it, right? Like, so you want to do different things and you want to, put different people to work. But the best thing I can tell anybody, if anybody's like listening to this and they're 19 years old.
That's exactly what I was going to ask you to do.
And
Please, what would you tell a young 19-year-old?
And they're like, well, I want to do a little bit of what you're doing. My best advice to them is learn, be dedicated, recognize that there's going to be people along the way that you need to prioritize you and your business and your success first, but learn to delegate.
That's harder than it seems. That's the hard part right there.
Learn to delegate.
Because if you want to go to the moon, you got to hang out with astronauts, brother.
Yeah, and it's hard if you're like, I only go back to relationships that I had, like girls I dated, and like, no, I have no ill will towards them, but it's just like, are you aligned with me?
Right.
Like I'm building a house and, A, B, and C, and D are happening behind my back, right? Like, ow, that hurt, right? But then again, it's all right. It's fine. I got a house. I'll figure it out, right? And so, like, when you're building things along the way, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm working till 8 o'clock at night. Yeah, I'm working on Saturdays and Sundays. I'm doing all these other things. I'm a real estate agent, okay? That's nights, weekends, and holidays.
You're doing it unapologetically, and that's the difference, right? So if you're in a relationship, you're constantly apologizing for that. Yeah. I'm sorry I had to work late. I'm sorry I had to do this. I'm sorry. And so that, for me personally, that's why I'm in this space now where I'm having an affair with my dreams. I am in the constant pursuit in the best version of myself. Like I know I'll never reach it. And so I will always be in that pursuit and having conversations with people like you and tapping into this mindset. It's infectious. You know what I mean? And I can hear certain things that you say, man, just stand out to me. And it makes me realize that, you had the foresight at such a young age that takes people into their 50s to realize, hey, wait a minute, this is what I should be doing. And they need to make all these mistakes in their lives to realize that they should have did what you did when you were 15 and a half, brother, and realizing that if I don't bust my ass, nobody's going to do this for me.
Yeah, but you're good. You're very, very good at how you deliver how you present yourself, how you're able to make people feel comfortable instantly. Like, I knew I wasn't coming here for a gotcha moment, right? This was a conversation about whatever it is you wanted to talk about. Man. And you're doing it with poise, professionalism, care, and you're doing it well. And I admire what you're doing. I've always wanted to be involved in media, and radio and all these other things that I've wanted to do. And you're doing it at a very, very high level, and you don't even realize it, and you're impacting people's lives, and you're allowing people to listen and get a perspective on maybe me and some of your other guests that you have that may not have realized it. But, you keep doing what you're doing because, like, as a counselor and as an elected official and as somebody who's involved in this community, very, very heavily involved and invested in here, I can tell you that people like you make me want to continue this journey of being involved in politics and being involved, because I can just step aside and not worry about having to deal with all the agony and people talking about you and all that other shit. I don't have to deal with any of that stuff. Right. I can just go live my life, absolutely, be a business person, go on vacation, not having to worry about can't leave every other Tuesday because you got a city council meeting. Right. If you're absent, they think you're out partying or living in Westport. It's like, it's the craziest stuff. And so like I just want to listening to somebody like you who's trying to get good messages out and being fair, it makes a big difference to people. Somebody like
that means the world to me.
And I hope you continue to do what you're doing, and I hope you rise to the highest level you possibly can, because you have some potential.
I appreciate it.
Untapped potential. I think there's more coming there. And what you're starting small. Like, I saw your likes when you first started. I'm like, who's this guy? Like, who is Bobby Couto? Yeah. Like, who is this guy? Right? And then you had Christopher on, and you're breaking news. I'm like, what is going on here? And I look on your page, and he has like 780 people that like him. And then it's like, now it's to thousands, and hopefully you get hundreds of thousands, and hopefully your reach on your podcasts gets somewhere. And I'm sure people listening to me, they're probably not going to want to listen to you anymore.
The universe. I think finally the universe heard me. You know what I mean? I'm not, brother. We're talking almost 100 episodes to get here.
Wow.
10 years of investment and time. I did this for 3 years and never published a single one. Like, I was in my studio. I lived in Berkeley for a couple of years when I was married, and I was in my studio just doing this. I had a passion for it, and I was just literally diarying to myself, just reading. And
who were you talking to?
Just to me, just talking to the void, just putting it out there, speaking to the universe, brother. I said to myself,
what was your first episode like?
Well, my first published episode
was
I actually, that one you can hear. It's bad. It's terrible. And it really was just, I remember starting it, and the first words I said was, okay, well, here I am. I guess this is the beginning of this, whatever this is. And I just started from there, and here I am with you. And it really was tapping into a voice. Like, I knew the things that I was thinking could be reality, right? But I was so encapsulated in what I thought was my life, right? So we become, you're in the pursuit of, you want to create a family, right? I think, again, I love my life. No, I wouldn't change anything about it. But if I had waited just a little bit longer, I think I would have been better suited in the success realm to have supported my family a little. I would have been able to provide more than what I feel I was able to. It's not regrets. This is just looking back, saying, if I waited maybe another 5 years and then gotten married, I could have built enough that would have carried me successfully. And I didn't do that. And much like a lot of men that are out here looking for an emotional repair, right? Broken family, right? My dad left when I was 12. My mom raised me, like, always looking for that assertion of affirmation, right? Like, this is who you are. And so always chasing that. And then I met someone who identified that, maybe there was a codependency there. And then 20 years later, realizing that, wow, that was, okay, I raised a family, I paid my debt to society, but where am I now, right? I'm not married any longer. Things change, people go in different directions, and now I'm faced with a decision, brother, and that decision is, what are you going to do with the rest of your life, right? So I have two choices. One, I have a thought that says, you've lost everything you've ever worked for in your life, which was not true, right? This is the bitch voice, what I mentioned earlier. And then there was the moment where I realized I was at my absolute. This is over. I'm done. Like I don't want to continue anymore. I put so much into this. I don't want to move any further than this. I am done. And then there comes that moment where you realize, wait a minute, I'm not done yet. I want more. And then I will tell you, brother, and I think this is that force that drives you at such a young age, because it drives me now. I believe, without question, that I am what I believe. I believe that what I put into is what I receive. The harder I work at this, like the fact that you're sitting in that chair right now is just the truth and fact of my manifestation, of the belief that I had in that moment where I was going to blow my brains out, brother. I said, it was one or the other. Cliff, here I am. Here I am. And I just want people to hear this, because two things happen here, brother. You have a mindset of success, and it's carried you all the way here. I, on the other hand, maybe I'm the other side of that, where I got caught up in the social, right? And what I was supposed to do. Hey, meet a girl, get married, have kids, go to work every day, retire, and then wait to die, right? Like that's what everybody does, brother. Mm-hmm. That's the easy way. But to see it, have a vision, and to build, look, what do you have, like 320 employees?
Something like that.
Yeah, brother. Not to count numbers, but that's monumental, brother. You know how many lives that you touch? Like that's where I want to be, man.
And you don't think about that stuff, right, when you're doing it either, right?
Right, you don't.
Like, I think about stuff like that all the time. When I was the acting mayor, I wish I would have cherished that a little bit more.
Absolutely.
Right? It was 3 months, and I was like, wow, man, like I'm everywhere. And it's like, yeah, but I should have maybe just sat there for a minute and just reflected.
Smell the roses.
Yeah,
just smell them.
And I have a whole new level of appreciation more now for you than I did when I walked in here, because you clearly have this part about you that wants to just do good for good people.
Absolutely.
And you don't find many people like that in this world anymore. And you know, I believe in what you do. I do. I mean, it's your podcast, but like, who is the one person that you've liked, you wanted to interview and you haven't yet, and who's the most who has like warmed your heart the most from interviewing?
So you know, unfortunately, he's no longer with us, but Raul Benavides was my inspiration. Like, I remember being 5 years old, and my Vavo and my Vavu owned the house right across the street from where we are right now. And every year there was the procession, and Raul came to my grandfather and said, "Hey, I'd like to broadcast from the roof," because he owned the storefront. And so I remember him showing up, setting up his whole studio, like right on the end of the microphone, and I remember being so into it. And then he's like, "You wanna?" And he grabbed me, he put me on his lap, he put the headphones on, and he let me talk into the microphone. And it was at that moment I'm like, I want to do this. And I always remembered how magical that moment was, and that's why I'm here, bro. That childhood, so cool. That childhood dream carried me my whole life, and it's something that when I was in that room by myself recording, 3 years of nothingness. That's who I was talking to, bro. I was creating this vision of, you know what, maybe I can do this, right? Because, any idiot can go buy a microphone and say stupid things into a microphone, right? Like, seriously, bro. Like, anybody can do that. Like, you can go on Amazon, brother, you can buy whatever the hell you want. The idea is, what's the point? What's the point? If I'm going to sit behind this microphone, brother, and you and I are going to have a conversation, why are we here? What are we offering the people that are giving their time to us right now? Whether they're driving in their car, whether they're at their job, whether they're at the gym, whatever it is they're doing, everybody's in the pursuit of greatness. I don't care who you are, but sometimes we lose sight that it's even possible. Oh, I can't no more. I can't no more. I invite people to realize that when you get to the point in your life where you say, I can't no more, you are ready.
Yep.
That is the moment to jump. That's when you go.
Yep.
I wish people would realize that.
Yeah. Well, I got to say, I'll just say this, that whatever I can do to support what you're trying to accomplish, I'd love to. I'd love to come back on again.
You already are, bro. You're such a success. Dude, I got to tell you, this, like, doing the research for the show, I'll tell you, I get a lot out of this. I don't think people realize that, I do all the show notes and really realizing it's one thing to know Cliff and to go to social media and, your political stance on things. Like, that's easy stuff, right? I can go on Facebook and see that. Yeah. But to do a deep dive into someone and realize how many things you're involved. I mean, we don't have enough time here today. We could do a whole other episode. Bro, you're involved in so many things. You're nonstop. This isn't like from 6 months ago, dude. This is your whole life. Yeah. Like, your whole life. You have been nonstop committed to service, bro.
I have. And that's why looking at these things, like, you'll think back and you're like, I've helped many people, but I don't necessarily need the accolades for it, because I know where it came from. Like, I know that I was able to change a life. Yeah. And like when you're 70, 80, 90, 100 years old and your days are numbered and you're looking back at it saying, what regrets do I have? I don't want to be that guy that sits there and says, I have regrets.
100%, bro.
I want to say, like, I had a good life. I helped a lot of people. People respected me. They may not have, you know, I'll promise that this, I'll be short with this because you probably want to get me.
No, please go. I'm in no rush. We'll stay here all night.
Sean Kadeem, I told him this story. He's a city councilor with me at Fall River. And I will never forget, this is like a monumental point in my life, right? There was 2 times with him. He's been a friend of mine since I was 16 years old. And I got elected to the city council. I was 20-something years old. Sean was the city council president. And Jazel was the mayor. We're talking about getting rid of trash bags and $10 fees. And I sit in there, and I have this huge, I'm just elected, second, third meeting, came in second place, 8,000 votes. I'm like, oh, yeah, I got to be popular.
I'm the man,
right? And I have a city council meeting. I'm sitting in the council meeting, and I am talking about all of these things, about how we got to eliminate the trash because this is stupid, and whatever I said. You know me. I go on and on and on. And I was all jacked up. People standing, giving me standing ovations. I'm getting, high fives on the way out. My IMs are blowing up. My DMs, oh, you're the best. I'm so happy I voted for you. Sean's with his little briefcase. I'm with my little briefcase. We're walking out of the meeting. It was me and him. I'm like, hey, buddy. Now, a friend of mine my whole life.
Sure.
That was great, huh? How'd I do? Kind of like,
high five.
Like, high five, man. Yeah. He goes, can I be honest with you? That was the worst display of a politician I've ever seen in my life. Like, what? Now, I was at the highest point of my young political career. Yeah. And Kadeem says to me, let me tell you something. You want to get to a point where you're not necessarily liked, you're respected. You don't want to be the politician or the business guy that everybody likes, right? You want them to respect you. And the votes that you make as a city councilor is going to dictate if people respect you. All right, have a good night. Get in my car, I leave. The next meeting, there was something else. And I was going against those very same people who were giving me standing ovations, nodding their head, giving me high fives, fist pumps on the way out. And I voted against it. He looked at me. Same situation. How do you feel? Not good. Not good at all. Right? I go home, another meeting goes on, another meeting goes on, another meeting goes on, and I'm like, you know what? I don't feel good. Like I feel like I disappointed my base and the people who like me. He says, you'll be fine. That next term, I come in city council, first place. The next time, first place.
Wow.
Now, and I was the councilor who was going against the mayor. Not always, but sometimes, right? And
the opposing force.
I was accountable, and I always in the back of my mind, I was like, I want to be respected and not liked.
Sure.
And I don't know if I've made that jump. People might look at me and like, I respect Cliff, I hate Cliff, I don't really care. But I've had people like that in my life, and people can talk crap about politicians all they want. I'm so happy I got into politics because of a moment like that. I'm acting mayor, okay, and I've never said this story before to anybody. And I am trying to so I'm council president, obviously, and I was acting mayor. And I'm looking at getting president votes in January. And to become elected president, you need people on the council to vote for you on Inauguration Day. So I'm acting mayor, and there were a couple of specific department heads that when I went from council president to acting mayor, that I had a new liking for. Like, meaning I see you from a different perspective, kind of like right now.
Okay.
Maybe, or maybe you didn't have a different perspective of me before I walked in here than you do right now. I don't know. And I was like, these specific people, I actually like them. I'm acting mayor. They're delivering for me. They're helping me. They're counseling me. They're giving me good advice. So they're not necessarily loyal to the individual. They're loyal to the office of mayor. So it got out there that I don't want the new mayor, Coogan, to fire these 4 people because they're doing good work, in my opinion.
Sure.
So I would call him one of my good friends, Sean, doesn't tell me yet because he's mad about this because he was at war with me against the Jazel career administration.
Okay.
He says, if Cliff keeps acting like this, I'm not voting for him for president next year. Ooh. Now, this is a friend, right? Tough love. This is like, my boy isn't going to vote for me, And like he's actively telling other people who are running for president,
like what?
You get your votes, I'm with you.
Yeah.
I'm like, at that point, I'm like, first of all, I didn't even think to have to call him because he was my, he's my friend, right? And this isn't a dig on Kadeem.
No, right.
This is Kadeem in the early part of my career, showing me some tough love, right? And I said, Sean, so it was this close. It was going to go to somebody else. President. After I am the acting mayor, I committed my life snowstorms, and there's never a snowstorm in December except when I was acting mayor, right? So
right, of course,
whatever, right?
So when you buy a snowblower, it doesn't snow until you buy it.
Right, yeah. So I'm talking, and I'm like, I really got to earn your vote for president right now. He goes, yeah, because of you said this, and this, and you think this and this about this person. He's like, I can't vote for somebody who doesn't have a moral compass or whatever. He said something crazy.
Look at that, man.
So we go to SOGS and we eat lunch. I'm like, can I count on your vote for mayor? He goes, I'm telling you right now. He's like, I'm not sure if I'm supporting you.
Bro,
I'm like, Sean, you are like
crazy.
I would call you like one of my best friends.
Wow.
He goes, remember that story I told you when you were a freshman counselor? Learn to be respected and not liked. Yeah. Think about it. And then I'll let you know if I'll vote for you for president.
Wow. So
I'm like, all right, well, here I go.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah, you're going to make a decision.
So a good friend, a dear friend to me.
But a good friend will challenge you.
Exactly.
Right.
Like he challenged me
Absolutely.
to be a better version of myself.
100%.
At a time where I thought I was on the high. Again, I ran for that election. I smoked everybody in the council race.
Right.
Like I think Trottley was second, and I grabbed him by like 3,000 votes that time. Right. Like I smoked everybody. Right. And granted, I was working my butt off. I was the acting mayor and running for city council. Like what kind of press? Like I was having press conferences. It was crazy.
Yeah.
But I learned a lot about myself in those moments. Right. And I learned a lot about how I need to show up and not take what everybody says as being real. Right. One weakness I have, maybe I'm not as street smart as I want to say. What does that mean? Well, it could be a person sitting in that chair right there telling you that you're great, I love you, you're wonderful, and then they're going to leave and they're going to stab you in the back. But I would think I would give the best out of that person because they're looking me in the eyes and they're being real with me.
Right.
I want to give that person a benefit of a doubt.
Because you're applying what you have.
That's what I would do.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't go have a conversation with you and then turn and stab you in the back.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
So like there's those stories that when I reflect back on being involved in local politics, that makes it worth.
I was just about to say, is that the
reason?
Is that it right there? That's the
helping people, the connections I've made. Trust me, nobody's going to get rich in politics here in Fall River, right? Like there's no. I'm not getting money from the government to help buy restaurants. Like it's so stupid when people say that stuff, right? But I am out there just doing what I can for people and learning along the way. But reflecting back, if I never get elected ever again, the people that I met, the connections that I made, and that has impacted the journey that I'm on personally. And I hope to be able to tell this story to my 5-year-old son or my 14-year-old girl, if I have one, that just met the guy of her life and got her heart broken. Like I hope to be able to impact that. That's why I wanted to be a school teacher. I had that teacher that helped me get to that next level and challenged me. And I've had people like that in my life that have done the same way. And reflecting back at it, I'm not where I am if it wasn't for the people I've surrounded myself with.
True. So real quick, I know we always offer advice to young people, but let's say somebody in their mid-40s, maybe in their 50s, who maybe has a little bit of money in the bank, but just really have no idea where to invest and maybe get into some type of investment where their money could probably work best for them. I know the usual, the IRAs, I get all that, but how about something outside of that? What would you recommend? Or, I mean, again, this is no financial advice, just disclosure, but like, somebody successful like yourself, what would you tell your 45, 50-year-old friend? Hey, this is what I would do.
Get $100,000 in the bank, or $40,000-$50,000 in the bank, and the question I would tell them is, what do you love to do the most? What is it that makes you
like
tick?
This guy, dude. I love this guy.
I can ask you, look at what you've built here. Like, what makes you tick, right? So, like, I could ask that 50-year-old guy that has $50,000, what is it that you want to do, and how do you want to achieve it, right? Like, you can buy businesses anywhere you want with very little money. I'm telling you right now.
See, not to bring Jordan up again, but I will. He made a good point, and he said people don't know they can buy businesses. People have no idea.
Yeah, I want to know why is because right now, like, all right, if you have $50,000, can you go buy a 3-family? Sure. Okay, go to decent down payment for what, $1,500 a month of rent. Like the mortgage payment, the interest rate, and you're going to grab yourself $1,000 a month.
PMI,
You can make
by the time you're done.
You can make more money putting it into an index fund and getting a 10% return every single year than you would on your $1,500, your $11,000 you're going to make a year.
Yep.
So what I realized 4 or 5 years ago, that the rents were high, the prices were way too high. I didn't want to buy anymore. I sold all my multi-units. I have my house, and then I took that money and I did hard money financing and investing, and I've bought businesses. But the businesses that I've bought, I've negotiated deals with these people that are in the best interest of me.
And it's like a hedge? You set up some
hedge?
Yeah.
So I'd be like, okay, you own a restaurant.
Yeah.
You want $500,000. Okay, well, first of all, no bank is going to give you money. They're not going to give me money to buy this restaurant right now. So you're going to hold back financing. I'm going to give you $100,000 down. You're going to hold back $400 at 5%, lower than I would get at a bank.
Sure.
So you're going to get 5% interest annualized over the next 5 years, and then you're going to be paid off. And you used your money to have them hold that note, and now you just got yourself a business. So whatever it is that you love to do, if you want to be a mechanic, go find a mechanic, and their building might be a little crappy, and you want to go and buy it. Ask them if they want to sell it. No, I don't want to sell it.
Nobody thinks that way.
Right.
Cliff, nobody.
But that's how Almax happens.
Right. Nobody thinks
that's
that
how
way.
Rogers happens.
Yeah.
That's how other things are going to happen. You look for opportunities and you pay attention to your surroundings, right? The city of opportunity has lots of opportunity, I think.
Sure.
And like, I could ask you, like, what's going to make you tick? Like, if you had all the money in the world, somebody asked me this one time, if I gave you a pendulum and you could change it however you'd like to move it wherever you like, what is it that you would want to do and you had all the control? And I would say, I want to do this, 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 and this. That's the question I would ask that 45-year-old person that says, what is it? You're at midway point of your life.
Yep. You know what most people will say to you? I don't know.
That I can't help you with.
That's the
I have
problem.
190 people that work for me.
That's the
I
problem.
can't teach you to have the burning desire to be
Yes.
successful.
Yes.
If you don't have it here, sorry, move on.
I've terminated friendships because of this reason. Like, this is so. I made some good investments in my life, and I came to this idea. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to invest in some people. Like, there were some people in my life that I genuinely care about that have been in my life for a long time, and I sat down with them. 2 people. I stopped after the second one. Sat down and said, I want to offer you, not a lot, I want to offer you $20,000 for anything you want. This was my offer to them. Write me a business plan. I don't care what it is. If it's something that you love and you're passionate about, I want to invest in you. I no longer speak with either one of those people. I made them an offer they couldn't accept. And I never realized it until I did it, that sometimes when you offer people their dreams, they don't know how to accept it. They reject it. And the universe will not allow it, brother. They will not allow it. And that was something that I learned. That was a lesson that I learned that I thought, well, in most cases, you'd be like, anybody, like right now listening to this going, well, Bobby, you offered me $20,000. I'll take it, right? But when you're actually offered that, it's a whole different situation. And that was a very important lesson for me. And I realized very quickly that you cannot give people their dreams. They have to know and they have to want it.
You have to work for it, right? If I go to you and you work for me and I say I need you to do this, it's not my job. Okay, you know what? You're not my person.
Done.
Sorry.
Done.
You know what? Like, don't be
Done.
mad if I look at you differently. What? I can't do it. It's not in my scope. You know what?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Dude, I was heartbroken, offended and heartbroken because
Yeah.
I'm like, well, how could this go wrong? And then someone said to me, Bobby, you can't hand somebody their dreams, man. And, you know, and it's not fair that you put them in a position like that because they didn't ask for it, you know? But again, like you, I tend to see more in people than they see in themselves, and I think that's kind of the fault there. And so that's why I kind of offer, like, you know, somebody who's older. You know, I think a lot of people think real estate, right? Oh, I want to buy a 3-family house, and I'm gonna make money.
Well, real estate is the most secure way that you can take money and hold money,
Yes,
okay,
sure.
and make money. Right, like in 2011, I could have bought a 3-family for $189. I was selling 6 families for $215. Okay, if I would have bought every single one of those houses in 2008, 2009, 2010, you know how much money I'd be worth right now? You know how much value I would have in real estate? I would be selling those things that I bought for $200, collecting rents, and I'd be wouldn't even be here.
Yeah,
right? It would just be but how the hell would I have known in 2025,
right,
15 years later, that the real estate market would go like this?
Right.
But the real estate market is going to go back like this again because it's a cycle. It's cyclical.
Right.
It happens all the time. So like what I do is every business, and I've never told anybody else this either, every business I've bought, I get money for. Meaning, like, I'll collect a weekly salary. So if I'll buy Almax for $100,000, whatever it was, and I buy it, I collect a paycheck every week for, call it $700.
Okay.
And what do I do with that money? I don't put it into my checking account that I go out to dinner with or smoke cigars or relax or hang out. I don't do any of that. I put it into my Fidelity account.
I love this.
And I buy Fortune 500 companies, stocks in those companies. I'll buy Nvidia. I'll buy Coca-Cola. I'll buy Berkshire Hathaway. I'll buy Amazon. I mean, can I tell you how much I've done with Microsoft when I bought it for $115 a share, or Amazon 11 years ago, what it was worth then, what I have it now? And I had a person say to me, you know what you need to do? You need to invest $1,000 a month into your stock account. I'm like, $1,000 a month? I can't do that. Yeah, you're going to do that, right? And I just challenged one of the closest people I know in my life to do the same thing recently. Yeah. I want you to open a Fidelity account, and I want you to put money into it every week or every month, and I'll help you. And I'll say, you're going to buy this stock. You're going to put this money in this mutual fund. And I look, and COVID happened. I was in the market, and the market dropped. What did I do?
Oh, you buy.
I bought more than
buy.
I was buying Disney, JetBlue, Amazon, Johnson & Johnson, Moderna, all of these stocks, because one of them's going to hit.
Absolutely.
Not all of them hit, but I was like,
right.
I just put $100,000 in the market that day.
You know, but I think position has a lot to do with that too, because I think a lot of people were hurting and they're like, I don't have an extra couple $100 to invest. But
that's okay.
The truth is, but you take a little bit, even if it's $20.
But that's okay. Right? The question is, if you're 40 years old and you have $40,000, what do you do with it? Right. You're not making any money with it sitting in your local bank checking account.
No.
Okay.
Not at all.
Put it into an index fund. Yeah. Put money into a Roth or a traditional IRA. Like, these are all things like I look at and think about every day, and I'll educate myself on. I'm not a tax professional or a professional in any way, shape, or form when it comes to accounting or finance, right? I don't have a series license or anything like that, but I understand basic economics. Yeah. I understand that Berkshire Hathaway was a company based out of New Bedford, and then Warren Buffett bought it and bought other companies underneath that, under umbrella companies. Like, I understand the basics of that. And so I look at things like, okay, is AI and Microsoft going to do well? Yeah, that's the future.
Yes, absolutely.
Right? That's the future. So buy now, because I hope when I'm 55 or 60 years old, I can live off the interest on the investments that I made. And I'm like, okay, I'll get X amount of money and I'll take $5,000 a month. But like I get X amount from New York Bagel, Rogers, Almax, my real estate company. I put it all into my Fidelity account every single week. I get a paycheck from my company, and and that's how I pay my bills. But could I have gone out and done all these things and gone all these expensive vacations? Of course I can. But I'm living within my means and trying to take the money that I put out of my pocket to buy a business into not back into my pocket, because I will get that money back one day when I sell that business. Sure. Now I'm taking that money and I'm putting it into stocks and into Fidelity and mutual funds. Yeah,
high dividend yields. Like to me, that's what I'm always looking for. The high dividend yields. Because honestly, between you and I, once it goes, and it never comes back out. So that's always my mindset.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
You put money. You have $100,000 in your stock account. You never don't. If you're running into hard times, borrow money from a friend.
Absolutely.
Like, you're not going to pay capital gains on that money because you made money in Microsoft. Yeah. So, like, I look at that from a whole new level that I didn't, and I wish I would have done it when I was 21 years old, because I'd have millions of dollars in the stock market. You know what, though?
The difference was it wasn't as easy as it is now. There is no excuse for you not to be in the stock market today. There's so many between Robinhood, Fidelity, Ameritrade, all of these options that are out there. If you're not investing, shame on you at this point, really, honestly. Yeah. And everybody I talk to, my hairdresser, I'm like, I got her invested in me. She's like, hey, what should I? I'm like, hey, I just bought some Tesla today. I just bought some AMD. I just bought some Nvidia. I'm literally, I bought FFIE. FFIE, real quick story. FFIE, I happen to be on TikTok, right? And then this guy is screaming and yelling about FFIE, and it's an electrical car company. Like, they make electric cars, right? Like this fly-by-night company. And the stock was at 0.004. I bought a shitload of it. Like, just penny stock. Who gives a shit?
$5,000.
It went up to $50.
Wow. Well, I got a stock one time. It was a syringe company. It's called ISRG or ISG or something. Yeah. And I bought it. A friend like, I'm like, a syringe company? And COVID happened. I was like, what?
Right.
And I invested. I put like $10,000 in it. It's worth X amount now. I don't know what it's worth now, but I'm like, a syringe company. So I have all Fortune 500 companies in my portfolio, and I'm like, okay, how do I add to that. Like, I want more Coke. I want more
diversity.
Nestle.
Diversity.
I want more.
Yes. Diversify that. Mix
companies that are going to be successful that I would want to own
right.
would be the best advice I'd give anybody else that wants to get in the stock.
And in crypto, obviously, you're in crypto.
I don't go any crypto.
No crypto.
None. Why?
Wow. Okay. All right.
I don't even know what it is.
Okay.
I can't even explain what crypto is to you.
All right.
What is it?
Well, it's blockchain.
Okay,
so,
where is it? Can I touch it?
Let's to be honest, much like the American dollar, like the fiat.
Yeah, but
it's the fiat currency. It's the faith. It's the
Warren Buffett said, "You give me all the undevelopable farmland in Kentucky, I'll buy it. Crypto, I won't. Why? Because I don't know what it is, and I haven't. Maybe maybe I should have put 10 years ago, $10,000 in crypto, I'd have $5 million today.
Yep.
Granted, I maybe I could have. I didn't. But I don't understand it enough to invest in it.
So you don't feel
but
like
what is it?
You could play a little bit with it? Maybe say, hey, I'm going to put a little bit. Let me just,
where's the coin, though? Like, all right, I own a coin. Where can I touch it?
No.
No. Can I take it?
No.
Can I give it to you?
No.
What is it then? It's a computer system.
It's digits. It's numbers. It's zeros and ones. It's zeros and ones.
But what do I can't do anything with it. Like, yeah, I can look at it and go, no, but I can do that
with
Coca-Cola.
You have the wallet, you own it, it's yours, nobody can touch it.
All right, so then I see, you're teaching me something.
Yes.
So if I wanted to take my friend out for dinner, can I use my crypto money?
Today you can. Because
I take it out of my crypto account, put it in my stock account, take it out.
Actually, like if you have Coinbase or any of these others, you have a debit card that comes with it. You could literally hand over the card and it takes it right out of your account.
Like a credit card.
Like a credit card, just like
Oh,
cash.
yeah, see, I don't.
Yeah, just
but
like cash.
from my standpoint, I can't explain that to you and have a high-level conversation for me to invest in it.
It's fun to me.
I haven't
I don't do it. Like I'm not investing in crypto going, hey, this is going to be my retirement. I invest in it because it's fun. It's so volatile. You know what I mean? To be like, oh, let me buy
What is it at today?
104,000, I believe.
So to get one coin, I got to put $104,000 in.
Yes, for one coin.
And then is the hope that it's going to be up to $250,000 a coin?
Yeah, they're saying it's probably unstoppable.
Based on what metrics?
On the metrics of, so when you think about the blockchain industry, how government will implement it at some point because it's going to be digital currency.
But they're going to regulate it too.
They will, but it'll all be on the blockchain. That blockchain is the basis of what Bitcoin is based off of. So anybody who, when you get these situations where they decrypt the blockchain to get the code, the more of that happening, the more people make money, right? So if I'm deciphering this, I make Bitcoin. That's how it works.
Yeah.
It's fun. You know what it is? It's the wild, wild west. That's what makes it fun.
Yeah, I'm not interested in investing in the wild, wild west, though. Like, I want, like...
Yeah, but Cliff, you wouldn't want to put some boots on with some 6-shooters and be out in the wild, wild west.
No,
bro.
No,
you know what I mean?
No, man. I want to be in, like, Naples...
I want to go there too.
On the beach, looking at my house. I don't know, but like I can't get into it. Yeah. And maybe I should have. Yeah. I don't learn.
It's fun. It's fun.
But like
it's fun.
I rather invest in companies that I know.
Yeah, right.
That I can say, all right, I own Coke. Yeah. I own Pepsi, whatever it is. Like you can. But like you don't. If you look back at today, 10 years from now, AI is going to take over.
100%.
Okay, so. NVIDIA, you got Microsoft, you got these semiconductors, you got all these different other investments that you can put into these things, and you can put money into it. Yep. And what is that going to be worth? What do you think Microsoft's going to be worth in 10 years? Yeah. Right? So, like, I feel that right now...
with Willow, I mean, that's the quantum... They've developed Willow, and if they can actually make that work, brother, like, I mean, what are they worth? What are they worth?
Yeah.
We're talking the cure to cancer. We're talking no more diseases as we know it. You know, when you have the ability to do calculations like that. You know what I mean? You know, that's. I mean, and I think that's what we're looking at. So you look at the medical industry, and people are like, oh, invest in medical. At what point does the medical industry become easy? Right? Like, what happens when Cliff goes home and he goes into his pod? Mm-hmm. Scans you while you're sleeping, and you wake up, and all the cells in your body have rejuvenated, and you're 21 forever, right? Because what was in the movies, like we're looking at this, going, "Wow, this is an actual possibility."
Yeah.
I don't know if how into the AI you are, but they just developed an AI that so you know what CRISPR is, right? So if they want to split, okay, so they are able to fusion splice now. So right now, when CRISPR splices a gene, it cuts it. It's like a knife, like a jagged knife cutting it. And the problem with that is sometimes you remove some of the code that's necessary, right? So Japan, they developed this new method of fusion splicing they've eliminated Down syndrome, bro. Down syndrome no longer exists in Japan. Mm-hmm. How incredible is that? Mm-hmm. So what happens when there's no more cancer? What happens when there's no more diseases that, quite frankly, are industry, right? You know, some companies in this country operate solely on cancer treatment. So how do you shift it from cancer treatment to preventative care where people no longer have cancer anymore? So that's me forecasting into the future going, you know, most people think medical, but what happens when that industry becomes like drive-through?
It's going to be a different world.
Right?
Like, I don't know. I would never thought I'd be driving an electric car. Right? What is it going to look like 20 years from now? What is it going to look like?
Bro, Neuralink. People are controlling things with their brain. Right? People that can't walk will be able to walk again. Like, it's just the advance in technology is so amazing. And it's like you say to yourself, well, do you invest in this, or like really prospectively, is AI a good thing, or are we just playing God, bro? Mm-hmm. Like, where does this all end up, man?
It'll be crazy. Maybe we'll be having the same conversation in 20 years.
Cliff, you're going to come back, right? You promise?
You just tell me when I need to be
here. Yeah, this is amazing, dude. I could keep talking to you.
We got to get you live, though.
All right, how about the next one we do live? Like David mentioned it earlier, like we're obviously trying to keep it fair. We do have an election coming up.
Certainly. After the election, whenever
after the election, we can do the live show, and we can make it fun and have obviously the audience participate. You know what I mean?
That'd be cool. You have a really nice setup here. I honestly wish you the best, and I'm happy you were able to connect with me.
I appreciate it, bro. I hope I can call you friend.
Thank you. Yeah, absolutely.
And I will see you again. Right,
absolutely.
soon.
You just let me know.
So primaries coming up. I think it's too late now. But David,
but that's just the mayor's race.
That's for the mayor's race. But I'm saying, like, I was pumping the crowd, going, "Hey, everybody, go register to vote." Like,
that's over.
If anything, that's done. You can't do it anymore. Yep. So we're pumping everybody. Go to the primary. Go and vote for the primary. Yep. So very important. And then of course November comes along, and that's where it matters to you and 8 other people, I should say, where things could change. And quite frankly, I think you're going to be just fine. I
hope so.
Cliff, I think you've offered this city a lot of what I've seen here today, and that is a stand-up individual who really truly cares about his community and the people around him, bro. You are on a noble journey, and I'm just like elated to be here and having this conversation with you and be able to share this journey with my audience. I think we've waited literally 96 episodes to get here, brother. You know what I mean? No joke, seriously. And I just want to take a second real quick and I want to apologize to the audience real quick and say this. I had Paul Coogan in the studio yesterday, and I did an interview with him, and I did the interview, and then I left here, and I actually reached out to David, and I'm like, dude, I just don't feel good about the interview, and I just want to clear something up, and I'm going to publish it because I think it's fair that truth is truth, and I would never keep things from the audience. But the truth is, 5 minutes before I went to the studio yesterday, I received a text message, and the text message said, Charlie Kirk was just sniped. Literally 5 minutes before coming in here to record with him. Crazy. And, it took a second, and I'm like, what does this mean? And then, of course, I turned the TV on, and it's Fox News, and it's live now. And, man, I wish I didn't see, I get a little emotional about it. I wish I didn't see it.
Guy had a family.
Bro, in 4K, right? Like, watching this guy take a bullet to the neck, and then what followed up after, you know what I mean? Like, just the noise that came after that. And frankly, this is a human being who was in touch with his faith, who was on a very noble mission for the people of this country, regardless if you agree or disagree. To me, I think the First Amendment is paramount and most important of all. That's what drives me here. And the idea that someone would take someone else's life just based on an idea is beyond my comprehension, and I just wanted to take a minute. Again, like I said, I wasn't my best in that interview. I was very distracted. I hope that I would love to have him come back and maybe do the interview again and maybe ask some more deeper delving questions. But honestly, I was kind of like out of it.
Maybe after the preliminary, you have that whoever the top two are come in and come in and you interview both of them.
I would love to do that. I'd love to do that. But I mean, again, not to draw this out too far, but I just my heart goes out to him and his family, and of course it's today is September 11th, and I'd be remiss if I didn't mention that we never forget the sacrifices and the thousands of people that we lost on that day. 24 years ago, brother. I was in the hospital. My son was just born. My son's birthday is tomorrow. And so my wife was in labor. My ex-wife was in labor. We were at the hospital, literally watching this all unfold on that little TV, and it was all grainy, and I'll never forget that moment. Do you remember where you were when?
Yeah, 7th grade. Portuguese class. right down the street here in Fall River, because Atlanta's charter school was in the old mill where the courthouse is.
Oh, okay.
And I remember my mom dismissing me and my brother. My grandmother was working at City Hall, and everything just, everybody remembers, I guess, what happened
What are you, like
on
15, 16?
whatever 7th grade was. That's probably like 12, 13 years old.
Did you even understand at that point?
No, but like I was like, why am I getting dismissed at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, right? And Atlanta's charter school until 3:30.
Yeah.
And then everybody paid attention. Everybody learned. You saw it all. I remember it. I remember the day when Barack Obama got elected president of the United States. I remember the first time the Boston Marathon bombing happened, right here in our backyard, right? You unfortunately have to remember those days. I'll never forget what happened yesterday, right? And I'm not trying to compare myself to anything, but like when you're in the front lines of being a person,
it's real.
It's like,
when you speak on behalf, of the people.
Yeah.
Not everybody agrees with you, Cliff.
Yeah.
I mentioned it to Paul yesterday. I said, you know what, Paul? As soon as you decide to go for politics, half the people hate you. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He will be, and when you get out of politics, you become more respected when you're out of it than you are when you're in it.
Right. It's
just what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's crazy, and I think that was 24 years ago. And again, if nothing I remember most is how united we were as a country and as a nation. It didn't matter race, color, or creed, brother. Watching all those people walk out of that rubble, everybody was covered in silica and dust and carrying each other out of there. And I only mention this because it's important. In North Carolina, that young lady was brutally murdered.
That was another terrible thing.
And I'll tell you this.
And people are just sitting there while it's happening.
There it is.
What
right
the hell
there.
is going
Cliff,
on?
There, 100%.
Like, if somebody was sitting outside of you getting stabbed and she's crying and there's blood, what are you?
Yes.
You're just going to walk by and be like, all right, have a good, what is wrong with you?
It was disturbing to watch it happen, but it was more disturbing to watch those people watch that young lady just die and nobody offer her a hand.
Just like on their phone, like nothing happened. What world are we living in?
One guy actually got up and walked away from her.
I saw that.
Yeah.
That girl woke up that morning.
Yeah.
She became a U.S. citizen the right way.
She was coming home from work, man.
Coming home from work on a train, and she...
Yeah.
What have we got?
That could have been my daughter. That could have, you know what I mean? That could be anybody.
That's why
that could have been 16-year-old Cliff on the bus on his way home from
absolutely
from right.
You know what? And that's why when people get worked up about little things and they're so hot and bothered by stuff, your life could be so much worse than it is when you're pissing about spilt milk.
Yeah,
really,
true that, man.
Really.
Yeah.
So,
Cliff Pont, you are a pleasure, sir.
Thank you.
You are a leader. And you are a pillar of this community, brother.
Thank you.
And I am honored to be here with you, and I appreciate you coming in and sharing this.
I'm so happy we did this. Let's do it again.
All right, brother. I appreciate you.
Thank you.
Everybody, thank you so much for being here. We really appreciate it. This was an amazing episode, monumental. I can't wait for the next one. Obviously, we're on this momentum. We're going to continue this message with everyone. But I just want you to know that stay close. Hug those you love just a little bit longer. Realize that life is very, very short and fragile. And remember that all things in life are not choice, but everything is reason. Remember that. And remember that all roads lead here.